Hello again, class. This is going to be chapter 6 lesson. We are going to take Roman numeral 1 as part 1 and then Roman numeral 2 as chapter 6 lesson part 2. Today we're going to be working with markup and finding selling price. Now, a markup really refers to the amount of increase in the price. A store is going to buy an item at a lower price than what they sell it. Otherwise, of course, there's not going to be a profit. Now, the store has a cost. That's how much they have to pay. Then they add on a markup. That's the amount of increase that they're going to give to the price. That will equal the selling price that you end up paying. Let's look at percent of markup first. Now, the percent of markup is very much like the percent of increase. A store buys an item at $25. They decide to sell it at $45. This is like the original amount that we had in the percent of increase problems. So we're going to take 45 minus 25, just like we did in step 1 in lesson 6.5a. That is going to give us a markup of $20. This markup is a part. Now we need to calculate the percent. We are going to take the original amount, 25 times n, and set that equal to the markup of 20. You know what to do. Divide both sides by 25. Now this one is actually a mental math problem, because if I'm going to do a percent, I want my denominator to be 100, so I really only have to take it times 4, and I find out that the percent of markup in this particular problem is 80%. This is called the percent of markup. At this point, you will hit pause and do example 2. And sample 2 or example 2's percent of markup is going to be 90%. Now, we're going to move on to the selling price. The store buys pens for 79 cents and then marks up the price 65%. We're going to figure out the selling price. How much will the sticker on the item say when you see it in the store? Now, the asterisk is by the part that you got to wrap your brain around. You know that to sell the item, they have got to charge at least 79 cents, right? Well, that's a 100%. Then they're going to add 65%. So that means our percent here is really going to be 165% of the store's cost. So here's your percent. This is multiply. This now becomes the whole. If you remember for equations, it's going to be percent as a decimal or fraction times the whole equals the part. Only because our percent is over 165, our part is going to be a larger number than what we would put into the equation for the whole. Now, 165%. That's going to be put into the, I don't know if you want to call it a formula or an equation, as 1.65. Remember, this is the percent as a decimal. If you recall that lesson, it was the percent as a decimal or a fraction times the whole. This is the store's cost. Now, if you remember, the selling price right up here, the selling price is 165% of the store's cost. What we're going to come up with is the selling price. And this is a way of doing this all in one step. Now there is a way to do it in 2 steps. If you really have a problem with this, come and see me and I can explain to you how to do it in 2 steps, and if you like that better, go ahead and use it. But if you can learn to do it in 1 step, it's kind of nice. So into your calculator, you're going to take 1.65 times 0.79. Now, because this is money, we're going to round off to the nearest cent. And in this case, it's going to be $1.30. Let's look at example 2. The store's cost is $89.89. They are going to put an 80% markup to that. So remember, we're going to take the 100% plus the 80%. So our percent that we're going to use in the problem is 180%. Now, usually we do that mentally, okay? Now we're going to go to our equation. We're going to take the percent as a decimal. No, I don't need the 0. Times the store's cost, which is 89.89, equals N. And when we put that through a calculator, we'll find that the price that the store is going to charge you is $161.80. Please hit pause and you do sample 3. I hope you got it to work out to be $195.16. This is going to end Chapter 6, Lesson Part 1. Please reply to me with Star Wars 2. Catch you later.